The glitz, the gowns, and the golden statuettes, the countdown to the Daytime Emmy Awards has begun, and in Genoa City, excitement is running as high as a freshly mixed martini at society. But this year, the stars of The Young and the Restless aren't just preparing their acceptance speeches or their designer looks, they're holding fast to a secret vow that began with a laugh, a few tears, and a pinky promise. "We made a pact," says Amelia Heinel, Victoria Newman, eyes sparkling as she leans back in her chair during a group interview. "It started as a joke, but then it turned into something very real. Let's just say, pinky promises were made. And that's not a phrase that gets tossed around lightly in the Y&R dressing rooms. The promise that started over coffee and champagne. It was a Tuesday, one of those long, emotionally draining shooting days where everyone was juggling overlapping scripts and endless wardrobe changes. Between scenes, Melody Thomas Scott, Nikki Newman, Michelle Stafford, Phyllis Summers, Sharon Case, Sharon Newman, and Amelia Heinel found themselves tucked away in a quiet corner of the CBS studio cafe, decompressing over caffeine and carbs. "We were just venting," Stafford laughs. "You know, talking about the industry, the pressures, and how crazy it is that we're still all here, still loving what we do." Then somebody, I won't say who, ordered champagne at 11 in the morning. "That was not me," Melody interrupts, raising a brow. "Though I did pour." The group bursts into laughter at the memory. What began as a casual chat turned unexpectedly sentimental as they reflected on the approaching Daytime Emmys, a night that celebrates not just performances but the legacy of the show itself. 40-plus years for this series, Sharon Case muses softly. "It's bigger than any one of us. We've all carried these women, these characters, through marriages, betrayals, miracles, and losses. The Emmys feel like a family reunion now more than anything." That's when Stafford, ever the instigator, leaned forward and proposed something unusual. "I said, okay, we have to make a promise, no matter what happens, we support each other completely this week. No comparisons, no insecurities, no competition. Just gratitude." And before you know it, Heinel says, our pinkies were in the air. A pact of sisterhood in a competitive world. The Young and Restless leading ladies have been part of daytime television's most compelling rivalries for years, Newman vs. Abbott, Phyllis vs. Sharon, Victoria vs. herself. Yet off-screen, the camaraderie among them runs deep, rooted in years of shared scenes, backstage jokes, and surviving soap's demanding grind. "People don't realize how much time we spend together," Melody says, her signature poise warming into nostalgia. "It's not just a show, it's a small village. We've seen each other through marriages, kids, heartbreaks, and health scares. So yes, when we make a pinky promise, it means something. The promise, as they tell it, goes beyond awards or accolades. It's about unity. It's about resisting the subtle industry pressure that often pits women, especially those in the same category, against one another." "Look, we all want to win," Stafford admits, smiling. "But I've been around long enough to know that those moments fade fast. What lasts are the relationships. That's what we were really promising, to protect the sisterhood. A week of glitter, gratitude, and goofs." As the week before the Emmys unfolded, the actresses took their promise seriously and playfully. Heinel started a group chat called Pinky Pact 2025, filled with daily affirmations, hilarious memes, and candid snapshots from the set. "I think I sent one of me in curlers holding a script and a donut," Case says with a grin. Amelia replied with a photo of her pretending to iron her Emmy dress with a hair straightener. Stafford laughs. "And Melody just sent us a photo of her dog sitting on her Emmy. She said, he's keeping it warm for the next one." Their group text, according to them, became a virtual safe space, part cheerleading squad, part therapy circle, part fashion emergency hotline. Someone, again, no names, may have texted in a panic because their gown zipper broke, Melody teases. "That was totally me," Heinel admits, blushing. "It was at the fitting, and I was like, the dress betrayed me." By the end of the day, Sharon adds, "We were all sending her links to emergency seamstresses." This isn't just a show. It's a lifetime. In the midst of the laughter, though, there's a palpable reverence in how they talk about the show that brought them together. When asked what the upcoming Emmy night means to them, the tone shifts from playful to poignant. "This isn't just about who wins," Sharon says thoughtfully. "It's about what we've built, the audience that stayed loyal, the younger generations now watching on streaming, and the legacy we're protecting." Melody nods. "The world changes so fast, and yet the young and the restless remains. I think the Emmys remind us how rare that is. It's like being part of living television history. Stafford chimes in, you don't often get to be part of something that becomes people's lives. Fans tell us they grew up with these characters. That they watched with their mothers and now with their daughters. You feel that responsibility, but also that joy. The fashion prep and Pinky pressure. Of course, no Emmy week is complete without fashion drama, and this year, the Y&R ladies have been teasing fans with cryptic social media posts hinting at bold style choices. Let's just say, expect color, Stafford hints mischievously. Lots of it. I'm taking a risk this year. Sharon smiles knowingly. We all are, but we also made a pact that no one can compare gowns. We'll hype each other up no matter what. Even if someone shows up in sequins from head to toe, Melody says. Which might be me, Heinel confesses. The Pinky pact extended to red carpet prep, too. The women decided that no matter how frantic the pre-Emmy madness became, they'd meet up the morning before the ceremony, robes, rollers, and mimosas optional, to celebrate their promise. It's our grounding ritual, Stafford explains. We don't care if it's chaos. We'll sit there in our PJs and remind each other why we love doing this. A legacy worth toasting. When the conversation turns to their favorite Emmy memories, each actress has one that sticks, and most involve laughter behind the scenes rather than trophies themselves. Heinel remembers tripping slightly while walking to the stage during her 2014 win. I caught myself, but Michelle was mouthing, "Don't you dare fall." From the audience, she recalls. Sharon remembers a time when she and Melody shared a cab home from the after-party. It was raining, we were both barefoot, and we had our heels in our hands, she says. It wasn't glamorous, but it was perfect. Stafford recalls the surreal moment of being seated next to Susan Lucci one year. I was starstruck, like, do I bow? She laughs. But she was so gracious. That's what these nights are about, honoring the craft, yes, but also the connections. And Melody, she gets quiet for a moment before smiling softly. Every time I look around that room and see so many of the same faces, some older, some newer, I just think, we're still here. Still telling stories. Still reaching people. That's the real victory. The spirit of the Pinky promise. By the time the Emmy telecast airs on Friday night, all the prep, laughter, and inside jokes will fade into the hum of the live audience. The Y&R letting ladies will take their seats, gowns shimmering under the stage lights, and their promise, that tiny but powerful Pinky pledge, will live quietly beneath it all. Even if one of us wins, Sharon says, we all win. And if one of us loses, Heinel adds, we all get pizza afterward. Exactly, Stafford grins. Emotional support carbs. It's part of the pact. But Melody brings it full circle. What really matters, she says, is that we show up for each other, on screen and off. That's the beauty of this cast. Pinky promises or not, that's what keeps Genoa City strong. The night ahead. As the Y&R cast readies for the big night, there's an undeniable energy humming through the studio halls, a mix of nostalgia, nerves, and joy. Crew members tease about the Pinky Pact. Castmates from other soaps whisper guesses about who started it. In a way, that little gesture, a pinky link between friends, has become symbolic of what daytime television truly stands for: connection, resilience, and the shared heartbeat between actors and the fans who've watched them for decades. When the orchestra swells and the winner's name is read, there will be applause, tears, maybe even a few inside jokes whispered across the table. But somewhere backstage, whether they're holding an Emmy or holding each other's hands, the women of The Young and the Restless will know they've already won something far more enduring.